Distinguished honorees, family, friends, and colleagues, thank you for joining us tonight to celebrate the achievements of some of our most outstanding students. I am Dr. Ross Wheeler, Director of Honors, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the Queens College Academic Excellence Awards ceremony. Let me begin by introducing the speakers for this evening's event. We will start with Dr. Frank Wu, President of Queens College. Following his remarks, President Wu will introduce Mr. Ricardo Cortez, our distinguished alumni speaker. Mr. Cortez will be followed by Elizabeth Hendry, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. Dr. Eva Fernandez, Associate Provost, will then give her greetings. Dr. Adam Rockman, Vice President for Student Affairs, will follow. We have this evening the pleasure of recognizing students who have achieved high academic excellence at Queens College. Each student has earned the Dean's List designation for the past 2 semesters and has thus maintained a minimum of 3.5 GPA each semester. Many, as you will see, have far exceeded this minimum. As students, you have proven yourselves to be our academic leaders on campus. We hope and expect that you will also be our campus leaders. If you are not now involved on campus, I urge you to share your experiences, to seek out opportunities to lead student clubs, to write for or edit the school newspaper, to run for student government, to pursue research opportunities, or to take on tutoring and mentoring relationships with your peers. You have distinguished yourselves academically. I urge you to strive also to distinguish yourselves as student leaders. Beyond the good that this will do for you and your college, it will also lead you toward nationally competitive awards such as the Jeanette K. Watson Fellowship, the Barry M. Goldwater Scholarship, the Marshall, the Truman, the Rhodes, or to graduate programs at top universities. But most of all, I urge you to continue to do what you are already doing, asking questions, seeking out the many academic and intellectual challenges that Queens College affords. It is now my great pleasure to introduce President Frank Wu, whose special support for outstanding students has made this evening and many other honors opportunities possible. President Wu.
Welcome to tonight's Academic Excellence Ceremony in honor of Queens College high academic achievers. While we are not holding this event in person for reasons you're all very much familiar with, we have risen to the challenge of bringing you, our students, together virtually with all of us, the college administration, the faculty, and your family members. You are therefore the most important part of the first virtual Academic Excellence Ceremony at Queens College of the City University of New York. I'd like to thank especially our Provost, Betsy Hendry, Associate Provost for Innovation and Student Success, Eva Fernandez, Vice President for Student Affairs, Adam Rockman, Chief Information Officer, Troy Hahn, Director of Honors Programs, Ross Wheeler, Director of Campus Events and Commencement, Sylvia Hernandez, the Office of Communications and Marketing, Professor Esther Smolar, and all of the many staff members who were involved in making this event possible this year under such unique, extraordinary circumstances. The Academic Excellence Ceremony honors the brightest, hardest working Queens College students each and every year. We have more than 2,400 such students being honored today. This impressive number speaks to the quality of our students and their teachers that we have here at Queens College. I'm humbled to be here among you. Although I didn't do too badly in college, I didn't do nearly as well as those whom we salute now. This year's group of honorees is so noteworthy. You have achieved excellence in your academic studies while dealing with unprecedented, profoundly difficult challenges stemming from the COVID-19 pandemic. No other Queens College students have had to adapt to what you have had to adapt to over the past several months. You've done so with energy, fueled by your ambitions and dreams, with persistence emanating from your passion for academic and professional success. I'm also deeply proud of you. I offer my warmest congratulations for all that you have achieved, and to your family members as well for supporting you. I hope to see many of you here next year at this event in person, where I can congratulate you face to face, at an appropriate social distance, of course. I now have the very special honor of introducing our distinguished guest speaker, a tremendous success story and valued member of the Queens College family. Ricardo Cortez graduated cum laude from Queens College in 1972 with a BA in mathematics and earned his certificate in investment management analysis after that from the Wharton School. He served as co-chief executive officer at Broadmark Asset Management, responsible for business development and management of the firm's sales and marketing efforts. Also an adjunct faculty member at Harvard University, he volunteers his time and expertise to American corporate partners, helping military veterans make the transition to the private sector through mentorship. He's an executive education mentor himself for the Money Management Institute. He serves on our Queens College Business Advisory Board and has been a guest lecturer in the risk management program right here at Queens College multiple times. Today, we present the first President's Medal of my tenure at Queens College to Ricardo Cortez. The President's Medal is the highest administrative honor that can be awarded by Queens College. It is an honor that has been bestowed upon many prestigious individuals such as Congresswoman Grace Meng, news reporter Julia Papa, and entrepreneur Matthew Higgins. In recognition of your outstanding work and service to the community, I present this award to Ricardo Cortez and am so pleased that he's our keynote speaker tonight.
Congratulations to all our Dean's List, Provost, and Presidential Scholars. You should all be very proud of this great achievement. I want to thank President Wu and Lori Dorff for the opportunity and the great honor of speaking with you today. So let me begin with a question. Why did I go to Queens College? And to answer that, I'd like to take a minute to tell you a little bit about myself. I graduated from Bayside High School in 1967, and perhaps like some of you, I was the first in my family to go to college. I applied to 3 schools, Columbia, St. John's, and Queens College. My parents did not have a lot of money, and they strongly urged me to go to Queens College, and they said that that was the best choice. And who knew? They turned out to be right. As you well know, the late 1960s were a period of social unrest in the United States, similar to what we're going through now. Students on campus were involved in civil rights and in protests against the Vietnam War. I was one of them. Queens College taught me that attention to social issues is as important as attention to academic issues. And the motto of Queens College which I must confess I probably didn't know at the time, is decimus ut serviamus. We learn so that we may serve. After graduation, I had no idea what I wanted to do for a living. And I'm sure there's some of you who feel that way right now. My father always wanted me to be a classical guitarist, and I'd taken lessons since I was 7 years old. But after I heard Eric Clapton and Jimi Hendrix, and later Eddie Van Halen, who's my personal guitar idol, and who unfortunately died just 2 weeks ago, I knew that I wasn't a musician. So I decided that I wanted to teach. I wanted to become a professor. But I was married in my sophomore year at Queens College, and my first daughter was born shortly thereafter. So during my junior and senior years at Queens College, I worked in a factory in Long Island City, printing paper bags for Bloomingdale's to support my family. As many of you know, going to school full-time and working full-time is very difficult and very stressful, and I found that I couldn't do it. So I decided that I needed to get a real job. I interviewed at CBS, but they weren't interested in me. I interviewed at Merrill Lynch, and amazingly, they hired me. I did not know a thing about stocks and bonds, and I certainly didn't know how to dress for business. I showed up at the interview with long hair, a polka dot tie, bell-bottom pants, and boots. And the senior executive who hired me said that with my first paycheck, I should get 2 suits and a tie. And by the way, there's a Brooks Brothers right downstairs. So I did just that. And I've been wearing the same Brooks Brothers suits and ties for 45 years now, until the pandemic, where I can work from home and wear jeans and a Van Halen t-shirt. But I wore a Brooks Brothers suit, as you can see today, and a tie, and in your honor, even though we can only visit with each other virtually. As I started my career, I was eager to succeed. Maybe I was too eager. I was impulsive. I made a lot of mistakes. I've had a lot of ups and downs, and sometimes it seemed like most of them were down. Nothing seemed to be as steady or as predictable as I wanted it to be. So at first, when I was asked to speak with you today and give you a bit of advice, I thought that advice would be to take a bit more stable path than I did. Yes, work at a large company, but stay there longer. Get really good at what you do. Develop a specialty. Build a network of contacts. And those are all great things, and I think you should do them, and I've done them myself. But as I thought about this a little bit more deeply, I came to it with a little bit different perspective. I think that the eagerness I had to get ahead reflected who I am and where I came from. You know, one of the advantages of not growing up with a lot of money is that you don't have much to lose. If you fail, you're right back where you started. And you can always give it another shot. So for some of us, maybe we should follow our hearts and minds and give it a try. I will tell you that it has consequences. It's volatile, it's stressful, but that's the way I did it. And although it's been up and down, I think I made the right choice, and I think that was right for me. So when I finally decided on a career on Wall Street, I made a list of things that I wanted to achieve. And I've achieved some of them, and I haven't achieved others. But I've been very lucky. I've worked at 3 great Wall Street firms, Merrill Lynch, Prudential, and Goldman Sachs. I've been lucky enough to be able to run my own businesses for 20 years with the big banks as clients. And also, of course, I'm privileged to be a guest lecturer and also to be on the business advisory board here at Queens College. But striving for achievement also has its price, and usually that price is the pressure that you put on yourself. And we get pressure from outside places, from our parents, from society, but by far, the greatest pressure you feel is the pressure you put on yourself to succeed. And pressure can overwhelm you at times. I know that at times it overwhelmed me. I had to learn how to handle it because for a while I didn't do a very good job at it. So as I look back, one solution to easing the pressure which comes with both success and failure is to realize that mistakes are all part of the game. Every mistake is a part of success. It's not one or the other. They go together and they can't be separated. And once you understand that, once you really understand that, it may ease some of the pressure on you. And one of my favorite quotes, which sums it up nicely, is on a plaque to the players' entrance at the Arthur Ashe Stadium in Flushing, not far from the Queens College campus. And it's a quote from Billie Jean King. Pressure is a privilege. And when I feel overwhelmed, I always remember that pressure is a privilege. It's our responsibility to accept that and to live up to it. And remembering that phrase has given me a lot of confidence over the years, and it's also given me kind of the bit of serenity to get through the tough times, and it's anchored me. And so, in closing, maybe one day, many years from now, when you get the opportunity to look back on your life, and hopefully it's not because of a pandemic, another pandemic, you can say that while you made mistakes, you may have been overeager and you may have reached for too much, that you don't regret 1 minute of giving it your best effort. Take it from me. Knowing that you gave it that shot, that effort, even if things didn't go the way you planned them, and they never will, is a wonderful feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment. And I'm happy to tell you that I have that feeling here today. You gave it to me because I have the honor of sharing my story with you. I congratulate all of you on your academic excellence and your outstanding achievements. I thank President Wu and all of those at Queens College for inviting me to be with you tonight on this important evening. I congratulate you and I wish you the best life has to offer.
Thank you, President Wu and distinguished alumni Ricardo Cortez. Tonight's ceremony, as we have mentioned earlier, celebrates the academic achievement of Queens College's finest scholars. All of the students attending this evening's ceremony have been named to the Dean's List for 2 consecutive semesters, meaning they have maintained GPAs of 3.5 or higher for both the fall and the spring semesters. However, 3 categories of special honor distinguish these students. Those whose cumulative GPAs now stand between 3.9 and 4.0 are celebrated this evening as our presidential scholars. Those whose cumulative GPAs stand between 3.75 and 3.89 are designated as our Provost Scholars. Students whose cumulative GPAs stand between 3.5 and 3.74 are celebrated this evening as our Dean Scholars. It is now my pleasure to introduce our first cohort of celebrants, the Presidential Scholars. Congratulations to all our presidential scholars. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Elizabeth Hendry, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, who will give her welcome to our scholars.
Good evening. I'm Betsy Hendry. I'm the Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs at Queens College. Let me congratulate you tonight on your outstanding academic achievement. I know that as an academic administrator and early in my career as an economics professor, one of the best parts of my job was seeing what Queens College students accomplish. This event, the Academic Awards Ceremony, is one that I always look forward to, and I'm really pleased to be congratulating you tonight. I just wish we could be in person. I think you are to be doubly congratulated because we are in the middle of a pandemic. We've gone online. I know that things are not easy for anyone, and you should be very, very proud of yourselves. I'd like to give a special shout out to the Provost Scholars. For a long time we had Presidential Achievers, we had the Dean's List, but now I have a list too. So congratulations to the Provost Scholars and to all the students on the Presidential Achievers and the Dean's List as well. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the program.
Thank you, Dr. Hendry. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Eva Fernandez, Associate Provost, who will offer her congratulations to our scholars.
Greetings, scholars. Congratulations on your achievements this past academic year. In saying congratulations to you, I feel like I'm making quite the understatement, because half of last academic year was the spring when the world was turned outside in and then inside out by the pandemic. Scholars, you persevered. You found focus at a time when there was little focus to be found. You rose to the challenge of learning in a place where the learning environment was less than ideal. So congratulations to you on the great feat of achieving academic excellence in a less than excellent moment. But what happens next? Where does this most difficult year take you now? We are definitely experiencing some of the hardest times that Queens College and New York City, the US, and the world really have seen in decades. What a difficult time to be in college, but what an important time to be in college. What you're learning now in your courses, the skills, the knowledge, the dispositions that you're developing, these are all going to be essential as you reach graduation and step into a master's or a PhD program, or as you wind your way into the workforce. As desperate as we all feel right now, whenever I think of you, Queens College scholars, yes, I know that our city is going to be a little better because of you. So what happens next? Think about how you live up to our motto, Discimus ut serviamus, we learn to serve. How will you serve your fellow students, your family, your community? How will you use your expertise, your academic strengths, and your wisdom to advance democracy, to heal people, to educate people, to design things that help people do their work better, to clean up the environment, in short, to make our world a little bit better? The philosopher José Ortega y Gasset, in writing about excellence, pointed out that what makes you excellent is how much you demand of yourself. Autoexigencia, or excellence as an internal impulse. Not your GPA, but how much you struggle to achieve the best that you can. I will add that the internal impulse is useless, really, if it doesn't have a feedback loop with seeing progress around you, externally, in the real world. So keep fueling your internal impulse. It will help you make it through this most difficult year, I'm sure of it. And I know it's going to help to make the world a little better. Congratulations again. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fernandez. We will now introduce to you our second cohort of celebrants, our Provost Scholars, students who have maintained GPAs of 3.75 to 3.89 for a minimum of 2 semesters. I am happy to present our Provost Scholars. Congratulations to all our Provost Scholars. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Adam Rockman, Vice President for Student Affairs, who will offer his congratulations to our scholars.
Good evening. I'm Adam Rockman, Vice President for Student Affairs, and I've had the outstanding honor of serving Queens College students for the last 15 years. I want to begin by thanking all of the students and their family members for celebrating with us tonight. I, like you, would much rather do so in person, but I'm very happy nonetheless that we are able to gather together virtually. Every semester, Queens College is pleased to recognize students with outstanding scholastic achievement by naming them to the Dean's List. At the end of each semester, students who have achieved a grade point average of 3.5 or better while carrying a full-time academic load of at least 12 credits are awarded with this distinction. In addition, students with a GPA of 3.75 to 3.89 for the academic year are named Provost Scholars, and those with a 3.9 to 4.0 are named Presidential Scholars. Congratulations to all of you receiving this recognition tonight. We are proud of your wonderful accomplishments. Your hard work and dedication are a testament to your commitment to receiving a quality education. This is even more impressive considering how much and how quickly higher education instruction changed during the spring 2020 semester. Your ability to not only persevere, but excel during this time is deserving of special recognition of its own. Earning the distinction as a Dean's List Scholar, Provost Scholar, or Presidential Scholar requires both dedication and talent, and your accomplishments are a clear indication of the academic excellence to which you strive. More than 150,000 students have graduated since the college's first class of 1941. Our alumni include such household names in entertainment as Paul Simon, Carole King, and Jerry Seinfeld, elected officials including a U.S. congressman, a past Queensborough president, and several New York State senators and assemblymen, as well as the CEOs of major companies and leaders in the field of medicine, education, media, and the law. Based on your academic achievements that we are celebrating today, I expect that many of your names will soon be listed among these leaders. On behalf of the Queens College community, I am delighted to congratulate you on having achieved the academic requirements to be named to the Dean's List, Provost Scholars, and Presidential Scholars for the 2019-2020 academic year. We are proud to recognize your hard work and exceptional academic achievement. You have our best wishes in your continued success. Congratulations, felicidades, and abhinanda. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Rockman. We will now introduce to you our third cohort of scholars, the Dean's Scholars, students who have maintained GPAs of 3.5 to 3.74 for a minimum of 2 semesters. Here are our Dean's Scholars. Congratulations to our Dean Scholars, and to all of the scholars recognized here this evening. I would be remiss if I did not share with you and thank those who helped us coordinating this evening's ceremony. These include the Office of Campus Events, of Communications and Creative Services, of Information Technology, and Honors and Scholarships. Without the assistance of individuals in these offices, this evening's event would not have been possible. I'd like to thank also the Aaron Copland School of Music, which provided the music that accompanied the presentation of our scholars' names. Finally, I wish to acknowledge the family and friends whose support has contributed to the success of our students. We applaud you in assisting these students in maintaining their outstanding educational efforts. To you, our honorees, your high academic achievement is the key to your future. We look forward to celebrating with you as you forge ahead. Share your wonderful gifts with others. And most of all, continue on the path of excellence in your quest for knowledge. This ends the formal portion of this evening's program. However, I invite you to remain on the Zoom now for a display of photographs of many of our award recipients. These are presented according to their award classification, beginning with the Presidential Scholars. Thank you all for celebrating with us tonight. Congratulations again, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
you.